Now, last week we talked about solving community or local problems with engineering design process, okay? And we said we have steps that are used, okay, to be able to solve any problem within the local or the community. And we have step one, which is the problem identification. This we did it last week, and we talked about step number one, you identify the problem, okay? And this is what we did last week. So for step one, problem identification. Okay, so all this we discussed last week. Now, step two is gathering information and ideas related to the problem. Okay, so step one is identify the problem. Okay, like you want to solve a problem in the community. So the first thing you have to do is identify the problem. Then after that, you gather information and ideas related to the problem, okay? And this is the collection of information and ideas in science, mathematics, technology, or any other science-related problem. So this is getting a problem, identifying the problem, and collecting information based on the science behind the problem, mathematics that is behind the problem, and also the technology that is behind the problem. This is the hardest thing to do because sometimes you don't get credibility from the sources. Credibility means the information you get, you're not sure if it's okay, or it's accurate, okay? So you don't get credibility from the source, okay? You might get information that is not right, okay? So it becomes very hard for you to be able to solve that problem. So this is the hardest thing, or a hardest step, gathering information, okay? Now, the data source is accessed from, so these are different places where you can gather information from. And this one is through individual, okay, individuals in your community. You can even conduct an interview, one-on-one interview, get information. Institution means from schools and universities, organizations, okay, within the community, or any other related agencies. So this is just step one on how to access information. Let me just put it here. Step one on gathering information. And where do you get this information from? Individuals, institution, organization, or related agencies. Number two, you can get it from documentary sources such as books, textbook, or journals. Then number three, you can get from digital media or various websites, both from within the country, okay? So this is where you get your information from, okay? You get your information from these three places, but the information you get, you're not really sure if it's the right information. And the information that you get, you base it on the science behind it, the mathematics, the technology, and any other science related to the problem, okay? So let's move to the step. You can look at this diagram, okay? At least you can try and read in Thai so that you can be able to understand in much detail. Now, let's move to step number three. So the first step was identify the problem. Step number two was to design was to collect information, okay, gather information about the problem. Then number three is to design a solution, okay? So this is what we call solution design. And it is the use of collected data that you collected in step two, okay? Compare and decide on the necessary information or problem solving. This helps to get suitable solutions to the problem, and it's done through diagrams and flowcharts. So this means once you collect the data that you're supposed to collect in step 2, the next step is to analyze, you compare, and you decide the necessary on the necessary information for problem solving. And this is done through diagrams and flowcharts, okay? And also today we will talk about types of flowcharts, and that's what we will talk about. Types of diagrams used in design solutions. So what are the diagrams that are used in design solution? Number one, we have sketching, okay? And this means drawing without the help of drawing tools. Now, this is an example of a flowchart, which is over here. It's an example of a flowchart, and this one is just a sketch. And a sketch means drawing without the help of any drawing tool. Example, I can sketch and say start, and then just draw a circle like that, a drop, and then draw something else and say finish. So this is the example of a sketch, okay? And this is just an example of a sketch. And this is the first type of diagrams used in design solution. Then next we have diagram, okay? So this one refers to a picture or an outline written to help explain the story, okay? It is just a picture or an outline that is written to explain the story. A diagram is a graphic material used to convey knowledge, understanding, opinions, or stories. And now look, this is a diagram, okay? And this diagram is much more better than the sketch, okay? Because here you see you have the start, you have the input, you have the process, and also you have the end, okay? So this is just a picture or an outline. This is actually an outline, okay, written to help explain a story. So a story when it started and the input and the process and how it ends. A diagram is a graphic material used to convey knowledge, understanding, opinion, or stories, okay? So this is an example of a diagram. Then let's move to the next one, which is line diagram, a line diagram. And it's a diagram that combines lines, shapes, and text. Three things: line, shape, and text, okay? And you can read in Thai so that you can be able to understand better. Now, example of a line diagram is a systematic diagram on the audio mixture, link, the location of various buttons. And this is just that diagram. So this diagram is this one here. Okay, schematic diagram of an audio mixture, link the location on the various buttons. So you see we are using lines, we are using shapes, and we are also using text. Okay, it's a diagram that combines lines, shape, this is a shape of a triangle, a rectangle, and also we have text. So that's a line diagram, okay? And these are, they're used for designing solution, okay? Then let's move to the next step. We have the log diagram, and it's a diagram that uses simple shape. Roughly illustrates the component, show the relationship of the system related work without focusing on the detail of the work, such as diagram showing electrical circuit. Now look at this. You can read it in Thai so that you can be able to understand more, okay? And example, sorry for those notifications. I don't know how I can end them up. Okay, now, example of log diagram. This is a log diagram, okay? It's a diagram that uses simple shape, okay? Roughly illustrates the component, showing the relationship of the system related work without focusing on details of the work, such as diagram showing the electrical circuit. So this is just a log diagram, okay? Then we also have what we call a pictogram, or sometimes we call it a pictogram. A pictograph or a pictogram. A pictograph. Now, it's a graph used to display information that uses images or symbols to represent data. Now we have, this is just a graph. We have numbers of apples sold. So we have Monday, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 6 apples were sold on Monday. Then we have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And this is just an example of a pictogram. And you can design your problem like this, okay? So this is another way on how you can design your program. This is a picture diagram. Then we also have a compound diagram, and it is a diagram showing both pictures, line drawing, mixed together, make object visible, okay? Now you can translate it in Thai so you can read and understand better. So the whole part is a real picture and line drawing, which makes it easy to understand the detail of the element or work process of that object, okay? Such as a diagram showing functions of various organ system in the body, like this one. So this is a digestive system showing all the organs in the body, and this is a compound diagram, okay? All these are different types of diagrams. So we have sketch, we have diagram, we have line diagram, we have log diagram, we have picture or pictodiagram, and also we have the compound diagram, okay? So next week we will continue and we will talk about the next step, okay, after design solution. After you design solution, what is the next step? So that will be a topic for the next lesson. So thank you so much, and I'll see you later.